Tzav. The following vort comes from a sermon of Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson Zatzal, the 7th Lubavitcher Rebbe, and it comes from his sicha of Shabbos Parshah Tzav, the 8th day of Nisan 5751, which is 1991. Nisan is called the month of redemption because the entire month revolves around Pesach, the season of our freedom. Nisan is also connected with the concept of miracles, nes, in Hebrew. The two concepts are interrelated, for as it was with great miracles and wonders that God took the Jews out of Egypt, the connection with miracles receives greater emphasis this Shabbos, which is called Shabbos Hagadol, the Great Shabbos, because of the great miracle which occurred then. What was this miracle? As the Alter Rebbe relates in his Shulchan Aruch, the firstborn of Egypt learned that God would slay all them and tried to convince Paro to release the Jews. When Paro refused, they revolted against him, as implied by the verse, to strike Egypt with their firstborn. This represented the beginning of the miracles of the redemption. We must understand, why did our sages attach so much importance to the miracle of striking Egypt with their firstborn? Why is striking Egypt with their firstborn, meaning the firstborn that were fighting against Paro? Why is this considered a great miracle and the beginning of the redemption? Also, it is necessary to understand the association between this miracle and the Shabbos. In other words, it occurred on the Shabbos and is commemorated on the Shabbos. There is another significant dimension related to the above. The redemption from Egypt is associated with Moshe. He was the one chosen by God to redeem the Jews from Egypt. When he requested that God send another person instead, God refused, for it is Moshe who has the power to redeem the Jewish people. The purpose of the exodus from Egypt is for the Jewish people to appreciate God's providence, as it is written, "And I will take you unto me as a people, so that you will know that I, God, your Lord, is he who took you out of bondage of Egypt." As the Jews exist within our material world, they should come to an awareness of God and accept his commandments, the acceptance of the Torah through their service, reveal godliness in the world at large, as reflected in the construction of the sanctuary. The sanctuary was, however, temporary in nature, and in a more permanent manner, this goal was realized in the Beis HaMikdash. The first and second Batei Mikdashos were destroyed. Thus, the ultimate vehicle for the revelation of godliness in the world will be the third Beis HaMikdash, which will be an eternal structure. Then, in the era of redemption, in the era of Mashiach, the glory of God will be revealed, and all flesh will together see that the mouth of God has spoken. In other words, there will be an open revelation of godliness which will be appreciated by all mankind. Since the goal of the Exodus was the revelation of godliness, it was associated with miracles which broke the boundaries of nature. The Hebrew for nature is teva, which also has the meaning submerged. In other words, godly power which is invested in the world is submerged within the natural order, which obscures our appreciation of him. Miracles, in contrast, break through the natural set and allow us to openly appreciate God's infinite power. Witnessing these miracles endows the Jews with strength to leave Egypt, to go beyond the boundaries and limitations of worldly existence, and thus experience freedom. In the same manner, the future redemption will be characterized by miracles, as it is written, "As in the days of your exodus from Egypt, I will show you wonders which will transcend the natural order entirely, and which will be greater than those that accompanied the exodus from Egypt. Furthermore, God himself will show us these wonders, revealing them openly. This is the first of the 11 Psalms which were authored by Moshe as mentioned. The potential for the redemption is associated with Moshe. The nature of Moshe's influence and contribution to the Jewish people and to the world at large is expressed in the Psalm chapter 90 of Tehillim, a prayer of Moshe. There is a unique connection between this psalm and the present days, as reflected in the custom initiated by the Baal Shem Tov to recite the psalm which corresponds to the years of one's life each day. This psalm concludes, "May the pleasantness of God, our Lord, be upon us. Establish for us the work of our hands. Establish the work of our hands." Our sages interpret this as a prayer in connection with the construction of the sanctuary in the desert, saying, "May the divine presence rest in the work of your hands." With this prayer, Moshe, and this was his unique contribution, established in a fixed manner the dwelling of the divine presence among the Jewish people. The ultimate expression of this process of indwelling will be in the era of redemption, with the construction of the third Beis Hamikdash, which will be an eternal structure, may it arrive speedily and in our day. Have a great Shabbos.